Welcome to the Principal Cast podcast. I hope you heard our intro there because this is what happens when edu triplets grow up. This is episode 18, Keeping Up with Professional Reading. My name is Spike Cook. I am joined by Jessica Johnson and Teresa Staggart. We are the Principal Cast crew, all grown up with the help of Jeff Bradbury. There are so many awesome ways that you can connect with Principal Cast. You can email us at info@principalcast.com, hashtag PrincipalCast, and also on Twitter, follow us at PrincipalCast. Guess what tonight's topic is, folks? You guessed it, professional reading, keeping up with our reading as administrators. But before we go into that, we just want to find out how everybody's doing. So let's ask Teresa how everything's been going over there in Michigan.
It's been just like most of the country, we're covered in snow. And there's looking, as Jessica mentioned earlier, in Wisconsin as well, there's looking to be quite a bit more tomorrow. So we're but we're off for the midwinter break. So that's always good. We have today and tomorrow off. And so it'll be nice to try to catch up on a little bit of work. We've been really busy. We had in January, we only had 19 days, I want to say 19 teaching days that we had on the calendar to start with. And then we had a lot of snow days. And so we had 10 teaching days in January. So it's created quite a lag in grading and teaching and whatnot. So we're kind of going through that. But we have had a lot of good publicity, which is really exciting. We've been designated as a Common Sense signature school, which I will tweet out the link for how you can do that. But it's Common Sense teaching for digital citizenship. It's teaching your students how to be digital citizens. So we went through that and we did the application, and we had just gotten back the acceptance letter, and so that's been awesome. We had some coverage on our new iPad program, so that was exciting. And that's about it. It's just been really busy. What about you?
Well, I was just wondering, what is common sense?
It died.
Sorry. I had someone else say that to me too. They were like,
yeah,
common sense is so hard to find now.
Yeah, hashtag common sense.
That's right. It's digital citizenship certification, and so you can go through the process to be a Common Sense educator, which is digital citizenship certified if you're the one who's teaching it, or if you teach it to a certain amount of percentage of your school, then you can be a Common Sense signature school. And we did that in tandem with the iPad rollout.
Oh, okay.
So I actually taught the courses with the kids as we rolled out the iPads, and so it worked out pretty well. And it's not only teaching the kids, but it's teaching the kids and the parents and the staff, and making sure that everyone's on the same page and understanding why it's important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in New Jersey, like the rest of the country and feels like the world, we've just been snowed in. So I was wearing my hat today when I was out on a snow hike with my kids, and then I just didn't take it off. And then all of a sudden I got onto the podcast and I realized that I still had it on. So I'm rocking it tonight for the U.S. Been watching a lot of Olympics as much as I can. Got up early and watched the Olympics, the hockey game yesterday and today with my son. Although my son, because we have a very small part of us that is Russian, he really identifies with that part, so he's really been cheering on Russia.
Cool.
So whatever it takes. And but as far as me, things have just been very busy. We had a busy week this week. We had a day off from school, shocker, because of snow, and then we had a 90-minute delay. Shocker, because of snow. And but we got everything in we needed to. This was our heart healthy week, so we had our jump rope for heart activity on Friday. It was really cool. I was able to bring my daughter in with me because my kids' school, they had a 4-day weekend because of President's Day. So she and my son were going to come in originally, and then he got sick, so we had somebody watch him, and then my daughter came in to help out. So she had a great time and was able to, she loves being the principal's son, and, principal's daughter. That was horrible. That
She
was
probably doesn't
awful.
like to be the principal. So.
No, she doesn't. Especially when her dad can't even get it right.
For gender correct.
Yeah. So
Dude,
anyway,
Dad.
but even with all that going on, she still actually enjoys going there and connecting with the staff, and everybody really likes her. So that's what's been going on with me. Jessica Johnson, how are you doing, girl?
Yeah. Hey, so first of all, I didn't respond quickly enough to Teresa, but that Common Sense Media website, that is like, as a parent, I love that website to, look at like a movie, what's coming up before taking my children to something, or even like an app or whatever. That's a great website for parents. But what's going on with me is that we also had Friday off, which meant I went into the work with nobody there to bother me, and I got caught up, which I always love. And then tomorrow we actually have our staff development day, and we have we're having a network. We call it our DART network with the 6 other school districts. We all have this common day off, and we're all going to the same school. We're busing there, and each grade level or departments are meeting together just to network together. And we actually, this started a few years ago when I just started calling up other elementary principals and said, hey, I'm lonely. Can we start a group?
Oh.
And it just started with us, and then with 3 districts, and then we just kept expanding until we have our teachers networking together now. So if you're in a small rural district, you don't have to be lonely. Even though I had Twitter, I still wanted to connect with other districts. So I'm getting excited for that for tomorrow.
So any small rural district right now, just get the bus fired up and
just head on over there.
Head on over to snowy Wisconsin.
You have 6 schools. 6 schools coming, or you're going somewhere?
We're going to another school because it's they just have a nicer facility with like an auditorium and everything. When we've done summer conferences that we organize there, they have an auditorium where there's a keynote. So we just keep going there just because it's easier.
How far is that from Dodgeland?
Probably just 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So everybody will meet at Dodgeland and then go over, or they just
we're
themselves?
Taking the party bus over. Yeah, we're taking the bus. Yeah, it'll be great.
That's awesome.
Teachers love riding a school bus, right?
That's right. It gets them to like reconnect with education, where the rubber meets the road. Oh,
I think it just has to do with being able to ride legally without seatbelts.
There won't be screaming children on the bus, so it's good.
Even better.
Yeah.
So other than that, everybody else seems to be doing good. We're really happy with all our friends that have joined in on the chat with us. Give a big shout out to Chris Nessie and Craig Yen and Brian Alaback and Mr. Mealy, and of course Melinda Miller, who is often in the dugout ready to get called up when something goes down.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And did you already say there's a delay?
We did. I think they said it at the beginning, but just a reminder that there is a slight delay. It's actually a pretty significant delay from what I understand. So Craig's just now talking about riding school buses. So I don't think it's 6 minutes like we thought it was before, but just a heads up that there is a slight delay. So if you do write something in the chat box, just know that we will see it as soon as we can.
Oh, and Mr. Nessie, when he retires, he's crazier than anybody I know.
Oh, absolutely.
He wants to drive a school bus when he retires.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chris, I don't know that there's anyone else on earth that has that dream for when they retire.
I've seen some articles though. There are some like principals or even teachers who they will drive the bus to school with the kids and then drive them home. Yeah, it's crazy.
That happens in rural Wisconsin. I know some principals that have to do that because they're so small. They do everything.
They're small principals, or
little bitty ones.
Oh, it's been a long time since we've all been together. Can you tell?
Yeah, it has. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
We're getting the band back together.
They're getting the band back together. Okay, so in all honesty, we actually have a topic tonight, and we're excited about that because it's. But if you have been brought here under false pretenses,
it's Spike's fault.
It's my fault, and you're allowed to stop the podcast. But I did tweet out something today about digital literacy, which is really what we are talking about. But really, the topic is how to keep up with reading other principals' blogs for ongoing PD. So,
Yeah. So
there's
if you were brought
details.
here thinking that that was what you were talking about, then you can as Spike said, just stop the podcast and come
That's
back
right.
to it when you're ready to learn about reading professional development.
Exactly. So if you want to push pause now, you can. If not, Jessica Johnson's going to talk about all her, awesome, professional reading that she does. And actually, I am curious about a couple things that you do because you use a couple programs to use to
Yeah.
read your blog. So
if I can just count on like Teresa to tweet out links for me,
Yes,
'cause
ma'am.
I won't be able to multitask that much. But I'm actually really behind at following up with my professional reading, and I try to read as many professional books as I can, but so much of it day to day is just in blogs. And I just whenever I find a great blog that I want to keep reading, it's whether it's a principal or a teacher, I hopefully not all of you are past like favoriting a blog and going to the blog and checking to see if there's a new post that like consumes so much of your time. You need to have some RSS feed that can just pull it all in there so that when you have time, you can go and check it. And one that I use is Feedly. I've also heard of like Blog Lovin'. I think Melinda Miller uses that, or I think Zite, Zite.
Zeit, I can talk about Zeit, but it's not.
But
It's not as Well, go ahead. I was going to talk about
okay,
Zeit, but
so I'm gonna screen share here if I can figure it out. Do you think I can figure it out? Should we try that?
I think you
Do
can.
it.
I think I can do it. Okay. So are you seeing my screen right now? No?
Yes.
You are. Okay. So if you go to feedly.com and you just use your Google account, I believe, used to be Google Reader, Feedly, Google Reader shut down. When I started my Feedly account, it transferred everything from Google or from my Google Reader. But all it is let me click on my Feedly. You're going to see here how far behind I am because here's all the blogs that I subscribe to. Spike Cook, you and your little blog post today, look at this. You've got 12 posts in here I haven't read.
Wow. It's only going to take you about 10
I know,
minutes.
they're short. And you can see I've got 217 posts I haven't read.
Okay.
But so what's really great is like if, say I want to follow a new blog, like principalstager.com. I can just add hers in here. I don't know if you're already in here or not, Teresa, but I'm adding you.
I don't know.
And then, so when I want to come and read, and this looks different on the iPad or on the phone, I often do all my reading on the phone. I can just click that I want to read all of these, and it's coming up showing as a whole post right here. And as you go through, like it knows you're reading it. I'm not really reading right now. And it won't show up again then the next time I come through here. You can also go up to your settings here and you can change the way it looks. Like I can just look through and see, oh, what title looks interesting and click on that. Or you can make it look more of like a magazine format, and look through and see what you want to read. This looks more like Zeit, I think.
Yes.
So it's just, for me, I love this that I no longer subscribe via email. I don't go and check blog sites. I put it all in Feedly and I check this when I have time. So that's how I keep up.
Chris Nessie says that NetVibes is also a great collector of blogs you like to follow. He selected it to replace Google Reader. And Mr. Mealy says they may be short, but it's amazing to be doing a blog a day, Spike.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
So,
did it automatically stop screen sharing?
Yeah, it did.
Wow, how'd that happen? See, Google changed again. I thought I was going to have to click a button. Thanks,
You just started
Google.
talking. So, Jessica, I guess what I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, like how I know I see like on there that you're behind a little bit, and that's all but that's all relative. So,
Yeah.
like, about how long do you take per day, would you say, trying to read somebody else's blog, like read other blogs?
I probably, it really varies. Like on the weekends, I'll usually sit down and read more. Like while I'm sitting and waiting for a wrestling tournament to start, I'll read through a bunch and I'll take 20 minutes. Sometimes it's just, hit or miss while I'm waiting in line for something, or I'll be honest, sitting in the bathroom. I'll pull up my phone and read a little bit here and there, or when I'm putting my kids to bed. So it's probably only like 10 to 20 minutes a day that that I read, although it hasn't been like the past week. That's why it's so far behind.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I ask you that is that I'm just kind of working on something, and I thought about the time frame of 10 minutes, and I thought that would, like, because a lot of people say they don't have time. I'm sure you get that a lot. I don't have time. I don't have
Yeah.
time to blog. I don't have time to read blogs. But I mean, tonight we're just really talking about reading and connecting with others. So, like, you feel like you can accomplish a lot in 10 minutes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Killed
Well,
that topic.
I mean, all right.
Sorry,
Press
There you
stop
go.
I was
pause.
just reading Craig Yen's tweet. Yes, Craig, I am at home. I am not at school. Can you believe it?
It's
Um,
absolutely amazing.
it's a miracle. Spike, Melinda Miller is asking if you can explain Zeit a little bit more.
Sure, I can do that. I don't have Zeit on my desktop, but I do have Zeit on my phone and on my iPad. And basically, what Zeit is it's a personalized magazine, and you can um, you can interact with it. I think a little bit more than Feedly, the way that Jessica had explained it, because you can get it to follow a bunch of different types of things. So, for instance, they have different categories. So, if you are into entrepreneurship, film, gadgets, Apple News, philosophy, sports, all different types of things. So, if those are the type of things that you want on there, then it will start sending you that information. Then the other thing is that once you read an article on Zeit, um, you get a chance to either like it or thumbs up or thumbs down, and then it allows you to tweet out, connect to Facebook or connect to Google Plus. So the more that you like an article, um, they will start sending you things that are similar to that. So if I like Jessica's blog post on, snowing in Wisconsin, it will know that that I'll like what Jessica writes, so it'll give me more things that she writes about. But then it'll also talk about snow in Wisconsin. So then I may get an article from Kurt Reese who's also talking about snow in Wisconsin. So so that makes it a little bit easier. And then as you go through it, you can tweet it out, and then it interacts with you. So it kind of takes all the way that, for me, it takes all the information that's out there, not just in blogs or not even just in education blogs, because it could be Huffington Post, it could be Yahoo News, and it just really kind of condenses it into one area. So that's one thing I like doing. The other thing that I like doing is the personalized newspaper. Have you guys done that, Paperly?
No, and you know
No.
what? I have such a with Flipboard and with Paperly and anything that creates some sort of a newspaper, I really struggle with it. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah,
I
I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like I need it in a list. I just have to have
well,
like a list of what I've read and a list of what I haven't. And when they put it in boxes and move it around, I don't do well with it.
yeah, and I have to be honest too, like when people like that tweets out automatically from them every day, I don't ever click on those anymore because I just don't know what I'm gonna find.
Well,
I don't know.
I can tell
Kind
you
of
what.
annoy me. That's you,
It's
Spike,
I
right?
have one. Well, I have one. I have one. It's the NJ Ed Daily, and it's all the news from New Jersey education, and it comes out at 8 o'clock every night. And so it's really not for you, Miss Jessica.
I know.
It's really more for me, because what Paperly does is it uses Twitter, and it just culls through the hashtags that you're looking through. So hashtag NJEd, hashtag We Amigos, and basically what it does is it curates a bunch of stories. I don't even know if that's the right term, but it really sounded good.
Yeah, no,
And
that's the right term.
okay, and then on a particular day, there may be a bunch of stories that have the same type of um, uh, theme, or there may be the same article. And then what will happen is a person will get credited for that, for being the one that shared that story. So that's why you'll usually get 2 or 3 people a day that'll say, courtesy of, at Principal J. I remember, and it's funny because a lot of people who don't know about that will, they'll thank me, and they'll be like, oh, thank you so much for, really looking into that story for me and publishing that in your newspaper. And it's funny because I have nothing to do with it. It's all set up automatically.
Okay, so in Zeit or Zeit, whatever you call it,
Zeit.
can you subscribe to somebody's blog like you can in Feedly or another
Yes,
blog
you
reader?
can. Yes,
Okay.
you can. So then you'll get all their posts as well.
Okay. And then I'm tweeting out a couple of links of,
I sent them
principals.
already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yep.
So for those that if you're not sure, like, what blog should I start reading? Well, first of all, obviously, if you're following somebody on Twitter and you like what they're tweeting, check out their profile. Most people have a blog, so you could start following there. Otherwise, I would go to connectedprincipals.com, which many, many, many principals contribute to. And then also, the We Amigos and I have a wiki space that has a list of some admin blogs, not a huge list, but there's some other good ones to start on. And I'm going to go back and clarify just so that people are not thinking like Jeffrey Bradbury. Jeff just put in our private message chat, Jess is in the bathroom for 10 to 20 minutes. No, I'm going to clarify. I do not sit in the bathroom for 10 to 20 minutes, like 1 minute here, 1 minute there. However, what Jeffrey Bradbury does not know yet, because his babies are in what I call the lump phase where they just lay there and that's all they do. When his children become mobile and they chase him everywhere, he is going to realize that it is a good thing to sit in the bathroom and lock the door and you can read.
Now wait a minute. Wait a minute.
So the fingers coming under the door.
I gotta wait a minute.
Wait, there's a knock at the door. Hold on. There's a knock at the door.
Wait, Jess. Are you making fun of this cute little thing?
No, I'm not.
Are you sure? Are you saying that one day I'm going to want to get away from this wonderful little child?
Yes, you will.
No, never.
They're lovely, but you'll want to hide in the bathroom.
Yeah, once they start talking, you're going to hide in the bathroom and say, "Oh, please God help me. Please God help me."
Or maybe
just
it's
make
the
it stop.
Maybe it's the mom.
It might be the
have to do
mommy.
I don't know.
It's possible. I don't know. Either way.
Teresa, so what do you read when you're in the bathroom?
So, I'm going to jump off this topic right now.
Well, okay.
Okay, so what do you...
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's another blog site you can start subscribing to, too, is teachercast.net, which has...
Oh, yeah, good call.
Like 60 people that contribute to that. Yeah. So another place to look for blogs.
Yeah, I am a contributor to
I am too.
Class.
All of ours are up there. So that's cool. Jeff does a really good job of aggregating.
Yeah, I forget that I'm a contributor. He just pulls it from mine and I forget.
I know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's a retweet. And it was Jeff. That's great. There are a couple of things.
He goes old school too. He'll pull up something from like 2 years ago and it'll come up and it's like, that's awesome. It's a classic.
I know. There are a couple of things going on in the chat room that are things for the RSS feeders. Mr. Mealy says that he, who is also Matt Oldenburg, just an FYI, he is talking about paper. He's also talking about Unread, and it's an RSS reader for the iPhone. They're talking about Pocket. Pocket is like Read It Later or Instapaper. I think Pocket is Read It Later. I think that's what it changed to. But Instapaper, same idea. And I use Instapaper all the time. It's tonight's show, professional bathroom development for educators.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Mealy. So I have, what I do a lot is whenever I'm reading anything, I save it to Instapaper, and then I have the Instapaper articles sent once a day to my Kindle, and I read those at night before I go to sleep. And that's, to me, I just love that. But there's another thing. I spend a lot of time in the car. So what I do, I have two different things that I've started doing, even in my office when I'm in the process of doing something, but also want to be reading. There's on the Mac, if you have a Mac, if you copy the text and then you right click or you control click, you can do it will give you the option to speak the text, and so it will read it to you while you're just sitting there. It'll just read the whole thing. And the other thing you can do is you can save it as an iTunes track or save it as audio. And so you just copy the text, you save it as a track, and it goes right into your iTunes, and you can sync it to your phone and listen to them like podcasts later.
What?
And that's been,
Wow.
that's been a really, really cool thing.
That's pretty cool.
I need to learn how to do that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's in the right click. You just copy the text and then control and click, and you'll see it right there. It's a really, or what you can, the other option is you can save a bunch of them in a row in Pages or in Word or whatever it is that you use, and save, copy and paste 6 or 7 articles, and then do the same thing where you're copying them and then right click, save it as an audio track. And then you just put it on your phone and you can listen. It's it's been, I mean, just a huge, huge help.
That's the only way I'm going to keep up with Spike Cook's blog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that, or at like
Love
6
you,
o'clock
Spike.
every morning, you just click on my site.
Yeah.
No, the other thing that I do, and it's a bit old fashioned, but like I will look at hashtags. I don't use like Hootsuite or any of those things anymore, but I do just go through regular Twitter, and then I'll go through some different, like I'll go through my feed, or I'll go through some of the hashtags that I follow, just to take a look to see what's out there, because I think that's another area that I think is really helpful. I think, because I think when people are trying to get their blogs out there, they like to, hashtag. And so are you ladies still using the hashtag and finding things that way?
For
Yeah.
Principal Cast? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, not just that.
And for everything else, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I find a lot of stuff that way.
And I speak in hashtags too, so it just works naturally that I do that. Okay, sorry. I thought it was funny.
That was kind of funny.
It was funny.
So
Not like Justin Timberlake, but
not like Justin Timberlake funny.
No.
So what are some of the, I would ask you both this, so what are some of the professional organizations that you follow or you read their stuff?
ASCD,
Mm-hmm.
NAESP. The principalcenter.com. That's not a organization, but Principal Center with Justin Bader. Somebody else go.
I read a lot of McCUL, which is the Michigan Association for Computer Users and Learning, and MASSP, which is the Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals, and MAESP, which is the Michigan Association of Elementary School Principals. They have a lot of really good information.
I like Education Week, especially like our friend Peter DeWitt does a lot of stuff on that. ASCD, of course, and then some of the other, like I think Huffington Post has a lot of good stuff. I think I've been surprised too, like even Mashable and some of the other big like internet, we'll still have things on there that are relevant to education. I use Facebook too, not just personally, but professionally. So some people, will share some things on there. So it's kind of, and a lot of times that may be like the local, like either newspapers or just like maybe blogs from professional organizations that I wouldn't come across normally. And I also like ASCD Edge. I blog for them a couple of times. But they have a really good group of writers that and a very very easy process to sign up for if you want to try to get your blogs on other platforms. ASCD Edge, it's very easy to sign up, and there's a couple of people who are regular contributors there. But then also I think if you got yourself out there, it's just a different avenue of getting your voice heard.
That's cool. There's, what is another one that as I was going through to put the ones to find resources is Edutopia. That's been another really good one. Yeah.
Edutopia is a really good one. I know we've mentioned it before, but I mean, I think Jeff does a phenomenal job with TeacherCast. So who would you say is your favorite blogger, like somebody that you look forward to reading?
That is so hard. I mean, you're first, obviously.
For sure. Absolutely. You know what, though, to be totally honest, I actually, I don't kiss up because I don't I don't see any use in it. I think I really don't. But I do think that, in all honesty, I do like to read Spike's posts because they are timely and they're short enough that it's quick, but it covers the topic and it covers it appropriately. I love to read George Couros' stuff, but sometimes his is a little more lengthy than I have time to read. It, it really, to be totally honest, for me, it has to do all with the amount of time that I have.
Yeah, and when I go into my Feedly, I'm sometimes like, I don't want to read any books right now, and I'll look at teacher stuff for ideas, or the other way around. If I had to pick one, I think I would pick Justin Bader's at the Principal Center, because so much of his are focused on your time management and organization and giving feedback to teachers, and those are like the top most important things to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and I was going to mention him later on, but Justin Tart, I think he does a really good job.
Oh, yeah.
Just for some reason, I don't know, I guess like you said, there's people that you connect with, and he was a principal and now he's an assistant superintendent, and I just think he blogs frequently, which I like. And then he also, like, I think he makes things very practical. He puts a lot of links in there. He embeds videos, and he's kind of been like somebody that I kind of try to fashion myself after. Like I think he does a really good job, and he's a very humble person, and I think he's just out there to help out. I also like George Couros' stuff. I think he really takes a lot of time, and he gets philosophical in some things, he gets practical in other things, and he really puts it all out there on the line. I think that's very helpful. I like Kurt's stuff too, Kurt Reese. He also does a lot of really good blog posts that I enjoy. And of course, like Peter DeWitt, I think his stuff is really great, especially when he puts it in, to the Education Week. Is some of the stuff that he talks about, whether it's political or talking about the reform movement, is just really helpful to read.
Craig Yen says he wants to add Eric Scheninger's blog to that list.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Melinda Miller just asked if EduLeadership, if you have to pay for that. There are paid components for the Principal Center, but just to sign up for their newsletter is not, that's free. So just answering that question. And don't forget Cybrary Man on his blog page.
Yeah.
He blogs about like everything all the time. Right.
Well, he's got a list of blogs too. So he's got a list for everything.
Does he have a list of blogs about blogs?
Yeah, of course he would.
I would not be surprised. He has a list in fact, this afternoon, he just posted his list for professional development. And I was like, well, look at that.
Right.
So we're talking about, he's right. I mean, that guy is unbelievable. Just amazing.
Who else's blog I really like? Free Technology for Teachers, Richard Byrne up in Maine. I think he's a guy, and I interviewed him a few months back just to talk a little bit for my blog post. And he's an interesting guy who just really started getting into it from the teacher's perspective about just like how you can get free content out there for other teachers to help them out. And then I guess the blog got so big that he doesn't even teach anymore, and he just does that full time with his sponsors and things like that. So
wow.
Richard Byrne is a really good resource for in the voice of teachers. I think is really good.
Is he R.M. Byrne?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you ever want somebody that's going to like poke the hornet's nest or, cause up some trouble, Will Richardson, I think his blog is absolutely amazing. I love how he just challenges the process all the time. He's a fellow New Jersey person. In fact, it was interesting because I just read a blog post about him, or that he wrote about how like a local newspaper or somebody was championing like, with all the school days being off because of the snow, this one teacher, talked about, flipping their classrooms so that the kids could learn through the day. And he totally trashed it. It was like, look, this stuff, you could have done this stuff 10 years ago. If this is as far as we are, we're a lot worse off than, than I thought we were. Like, it was really, like, I mean, it like really made you think, like, oh my goodness, like he just really likes to push the envelope. So I
That's
like reading
awesome,
that stuff
though.
too. Yeah, exactly. It's not like just like, let's just pat each other on the back kind of stuff.
Everything you wish you could say, but don't
Yeah,
have the
yeah, he can
don't have the
say it.
guts to do it.
He can definitely say it.
That's awesome. So, oh my goodness. So we have a ton of awesome shout outs that we've sent out through the Principal Cast Twitter. We're going to have to add these to the show notes. If we don't get them tonight, Jeff will get to them tomorrow for sure, and I'll put them in the show notes. But just some awesome things, and especially in the chat room too. They're jamming with Kurt Reese loving the Techlandia guys and loving
Hmm.
TeacherCast, Kleinspiration.
Yes, Aaron Klein. Yes, that's right.
Yep.
She's awesome.
George Kuros, Pernille Rip, Aaron Klein. Craig Yen is just adding a ton to Feedly. He said there's a bunch of suggestions flowing through the side of Feedly. So Feedly is going to have some traffic from the Principal Cast crew or today, which is awesome. I think it's probably time. It's 10:04, so it's probably time for us to go to our something awesome tech or tool part of the. Oh, Jess is already adding them. You're the best, Jess. Thank you so much.
I know. Just
So
kidding.
You're
It's
the
fine.
best,
what
Jess,
No, I'm usually
that
the
you can
slacker.
be.
Mr. Grinch. Oh, no,
You
wrong
are
song.
the best, Jessica, we'll ever see.
So Spike.
Yes.
How about that hat? Joe Sanfilippo says he really likes your hat tonight.
Thank you. I did see that. Thank you, Joe. I wish it said "Go Crickets" on it, but actually, I had some. I did wear. I wore his hat the other day. I'm gonna have to wear it on a podcast. But I took a picture of it and I said, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a cricket today.
Sounds awesome. So Spike, talk to us about Screener.
Okay, so Screener is a screencast, a free screencasting. Um, I guess you would call it an app or a site that will help you flip your staff meetings. And actually, I saw this first when I was in NAESP this summer, and I went to a workshop with Peter DeWitt, and he talked about flipping staff meetings. So he showed how using Screener is a really easy tool. So it takes about a minute to sign up, where you can just connect with Facebook, Twitter, any of those type of things. Create yourself a screen name, and then if you're going to go with the free subscription, it's as long as you keep your videos to 5 minutes or under, you can do as many as you want. And then once you're finished, you can then they'll give you an embed code, a URL. You can put it out through Facebook, Twitter, or any of the other social networking. And it's so simple that even I can do it. So basically, when you get started, all you do is you just push record. You need a microphone, and then you create a screen. You create a box around what you want to do. So, for instance, today I went over and created a mid-year report on our walkthroughs at my school. So it's something that I could spend 5 or 10 minutes at a staff meeting doing, but we've really switched to PLC. So I figured in 3 minutes I could do that and get it out to the PLC chairs to make sure that they show it before the PLC started. So I just went through the data and I talked about the different areas that I saw as being positive, some areas that we're going to work on. So I could get that out for everyone to see, just an idea. But it's just a voiceover on on a screencast.
There's another option called Jing.com. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's the same idea. It's free up to 5 minutes, and then it saves the screencast. It hosts it on, I think it's screencast.com, but it gives you the embed code and allows you to email the file and all that good stuff. So that's another option if one of the two of them works better.
And to throw a third into there is Screencast-O-Matic, which I love.
Oh yes, I use that one on my Mac. I found that.
Tell us about Screencast-O-Matic.
Same thing. Go to
Same thing.
screencast-o-matic.com. You can screencast for free for up to 15 minutes, I think, and then you can.
15 minutes.
I just load mine right to YouTube usually.
Okay. So that's what I got.
Awesome.
What do you got, Jessica?
This came out of a personal desire on my Android phone, switching from Apple to Android. I love my phone, so Kurt Reese, if you're listening, don't start, knocking my phone. But I was really struggling with getting my pictures off of my phone to my computer because it's apparently too hard for me now to get a cord and plug it in. And I was filling up my Dropbox super fast. I know, it's pathetic, my problems, first world problems. But on my Android phone, found the app called Wi-Fi File Transfer, and it's not putting it into the cloud. It actually, when you go to start it, you just click start. It gives you a link to go to on your computer, and when you're on the website, it's actually seeing into your phone, and you pick what photos or whatever documents are on your phone that you want to put on your computer. So like say you're visiting grandma and grandpa and you want to put pictures on their computer, you can just simply do it that way too. So pretty cool.
That is
I'm
cool.
finding the link right now, and I'm going to put it.
Okay, super.
It was interesting. I was in a class the other day, and they were doing some things with microscopes, and they used this program Sketch to,
Oh yeah.
Sketch,
Yes,
like
love
Yes,
Sketch.
love
can
Sketch.
okay. So I asked the teacher if he could send me the picture of the sketch that they had done, and he's a pretty open guy, and he had one of his kids were were playing around with the app on his phone. And then the next thing I know, that the kid was like, "Oh, did you get something, Dr. Cook?" And I looked in my AirDrop, like he had figured out, like, because I had already had an AirDrop communication with this teacher, so he was able to figure out to just AirDrop me, the sketch photo, so that I could have it right on my iPhone, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Our kids love AirDrop in our building. I don't know, Teresa, have you gotten there yet with all your iPads? Yeah.
You know what?
They
No,
love
and
AirDrop.
on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You just
on
wait.
purpose.
You just wait.
So what about you, Teresa?
My cool thing to share this week is called Drafts, and it's for iPhone or iPad. I don't know if there's an Android version. I have an Android phone that I use for, I know Jess and Spike know this, but for those of you who are listening, I have an Android phone that I use for work, and I have, because my husband builds apps and I kind of dabble in it too. So we have an Android phone, and then I have my Apple life as well. But Drafts is probably the most amazing, I can't type and speak at the same time. So it's now it's up and I'm good. Drafts is an app that what you do is so for instance, you go ahead and you launch Drafts, and Drafts allows you type whatever it is that you want, and then you click the share button, and it's just like you're going to share a picture to like on your iPhone, that little box with the up arrow. It clicks that, and it allows you to tweet it, post it to Facebook, post it to app.net, post it to Google+, email it, create an event, create a reminder, put it in a message, copy it to your clipboard, print it, open it in something else, save it to your Dropbox, save it to Evernote, send to Tweetbot, add it in OmniFocus, or search the App Store with it. So it allows you to keep all of your text in the same place and then save it to wherever you want. Instead of opening all of the different apps every time you want to put something somewhere, you just open one app, type what it is that you want, and then send it to wherever you want to send it.
And that's called Drafts.
Yeah,
okay.
I just posted the link. It's awesome. It's $2.99 for the iPhone and $3.99 for the iPad, but it is totally worth every penny. Every penny.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
it
very
looks
cool.
really neat.
So that's mine. And we are on to Principles to Follow.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Well, I don't know why I just started talking. I'm third on the list, but I'll go.
That's okay.
I'm going to say Melissa Emler, and her Twitter handle is MELISSA. Emler, Emler. She is another Wisconsin principal. She's a K-12 principal in a rural school. So she's got like a lot of things going on there with, all those grade levels. And she also talks a lot about, telling your story and getting the message out and using social media. And she's also a go-to person for me in terms of like assessment and analyzing data and stuff. So I would follow her and learn from her.
Very cool. Mine is Alan Lammers, Alan J. Lammers, at Alan J. Lammers. He's a Catholic school principal in Missouri, and he is always having great conversations and posting great information on leadership. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. So I love to read his tweets.
Very cool. And then mine is Glenn Robbins. He is at Glenn R 1809. He's a middle school principal in New Jersey. Just recently started connecting with him, and he has a lot of cool things to say, a lot of great ideas, and somebody that I think you should all give a look to.
Awesome. There's a lot still going on. Launch Center Pro. Matt Oldenburg just said in the tweet room, or in the chat room, sorry, similar to Drafts is Launch Center Pro. That's an app that I also have, and it's in the what's that bar at the bottom of your iPhone? The bar that stays the same on all of them, on all the screens. But the Launch Center Pro allows you open it up, and it has, I think, 12 spaces, and each space allows you to launch a different app or a different part of the app. So you can launch a new tweet or a new SMS or open Facebook or open a new doc in Google, or it's a very, very cool app. It takes a little bit to set it up, and it takes a little bit to get used to using it, but Launch Center Pro is another one that is. And it's probably $4, I want to say. It looks for iPad and it's $7.99 for iPad. I don't know what it is for the iPhone. I don't use my iPad. I don't have so much on my iPad that $8 is worth it for me. But on my phone, it's $4.99 for the phone, and it's definitely worth it for the dock. Oh, thank you, Peggy and Matt. It's the dock. But that's also a really, really great app.
Very cool. Well, hey, folks, join us next week when we will be having the infamous Matt Renwick on, and he's going to be discussing digital student portfolios. Jessica was so kind to offer up one of her We Amigos to come on the show. So we're really excited to have him kind of wrap up our month on, let's just call it digital literacy. Any types of literacy, reading things.
You can call it whatever you want, Spike. It's okay.
I think that wasn't today's Tech Educator on student portfolios?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So make sure, if you're going to listen to the show next week, which we hope that you will, be sure to catch the Tech Educator from this evening, and get caught up on get into the digital portfolio mode.
That's a great connection, because we do want to give them a shout out. They are I guess they are, what would you call them? They're also on our channel, on our TeacherCast channel. They're our brethren, our opening act, as Jeff likes to say.
I can just never listen to them live, because that's when I'm getting my kids in bed so I can hurry and get here on time. So I listen to them later.
Yes, me too. And it's always be sure that you check that one out before next week, because that'll be a great connection to have.
All right.
And we always want to give shout outs to our producer extraordinaire, Jeff Bradbury, who is at TeacherCast. And you want to make sure to follow his blogs on teachercast.net. And then of course, everything for his podcasting is teachercast.tv. And I think Jessica has something for everybody.
Yeah, Principal Cast out.